Good evening, everyone. This is Frank Dicas dropping knowledge. It's almost 11 p.m., but I found that this is probably going to be the best time for me to do this. If I want to load content to my YouTube channel, I got to do it around this time because I'm busy all day. Um, I don't know how to do thumbnails on the video, so I have to learn how to do all of those little things, all of those neat little things that make these types of channels attractive. I want to do some of that. But I think that right now, for now, what I do want to be able to just do more constantly is just share my thoughts on things. Sometimes it'll be things that are happening, it'll be things I've run across, or it might be just thoughts that I have. Um, just because I think that it's always good to listen to others. We can learn a lot from listening to people. We can learn a lot from others' lived experiences, and I think it takes wisdom to be able to view what someone else has gone through, is going through, and not have to go through it with them, or to go through it on our own if we're already seeing that that's a mistake or a dead end or whatever it is. You know, um, I I was talking to someone let me see, this past week, um, about a little bit about how I am and my philosophy on life. And I want to share with you guys something today, as my title will say, that has to do with dealing with wrecks. Okay, but what is a wreck? Well, we'll get to that. But first, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know a little bit about why I'm doing this, why I started this, why I felt the need to share what I think, what I know, what my opinions on things are, is because I feel like I've been molded by two trains of thought. One is spiritual. So some people might call it religious, but I call it spiritual. It does have to do with my beliefs, and I'll talk about that a little bit. And it also has to do with um, the way I view the world. On the one side is the spiritual, on the other side is the human factor. So I like reading the Bible. That I'm not gonna sit here and say I know all of the verses, but I know the books. I know what the books are talking about, and I believe in divine revelation, things like that. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but I just want you guys to be aware that I'm a fan of the Bible. Of the Christian Bible, whichever Bible. As long as it's if we're talking about um, do I believe in Jesus and all that? Yeah, I do. I do. I believe that I have a relationship with Him. Because I'm in prayer, I meditate, and I do feel that has helped me turn my life around. You know, that I think the biggest change in my life was having found my belief in Christ after years of looking through and reading about other beliefs and other ways and form trains of thought. We'll say it that way. Other trains of thought, other philosophies, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it superstition. Hey man, whatever toots your horn, ruffles your feathers. We're all entitled to thinking a certain way about life, about spirituality or non spirituality. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it chemical imbalance, whatever you want to call it. But then, apart from the Bible, the other book that I feel has really molded me has been Il Principe by Niccolo Machiavelli. I believe that that book is a mirror to who we are when we gain a little power. So, on the one hand, you have the Bible, which kind of tells you to be meek, to be humble, but also to be smart. It says, you know, be meek like doves, but you know, ready like a serpent, right? It's to spring into action. So you know, these things are biblical. And then on the other hand, you've got Niccolo Machiavelli telling us to, you know, if we're to strike, or if we need to strike someone or something, let it be with so much force that they won't dare stand up against you. And I think that that's how the world is. You know, the world is what Machiavelli's vision of the world is. That's how the world is. But the only way to rise above it and to escape from that, in my opinion, is through the spiritual aspect. So you have to have a balance. You have to know what's going on, right? And I think that when you prepare yourself, not just spiritually, not just through philosophy and through education, but also emotionally, you know, you learn what those triggers are that make you act, react, or not act, whatever it is that makes you freeze up. And once you recognize it and you conquer it, if you've conquered yourself, you can conquer anything else, right? I remember, you know, there's a movie about Genghis Khan, and it shows how he did not fear lightning, and all of the other Mongol tribes feared lightning because that for them was God, you know, full of wrath. So if there was lightning, if there were storms, they wouldn't fight battles. So Genghis Khan took advantage of that because he conquered his fear of lightning, and he realized that no, God was not acting in that way. You know, the way that God was acting according to him was in him being used as the punishment of the sins of others. That was his mentality, because he said this is a quote that's been said that comes from Genghis Khan is that, so you know, that he said this, like when he was conquering others, he would say like, your sins must have been so great that they reached the heavens and God sent me as your punishment. Man, that's crazy. I don't think of myself that way. But imagine how much confidence you have to know what your calling is, you know? And when you're in tune with your mind and your spirit and your body, you know, you got to take care of your body. I haven't been taking care of my body lately. I need to start working out again. Um, but when you're in line, like those things are in line, your eyes, your vision, and your ears um, become more aware. And part of what wisdom is not just knowing how to resolve conflicts, but I think more than anything is avoiding conflict. You know, and that does not mean, you know, like there's also a saying, and I forget who said it or where I saw it, but it's like, um, just because you see a man of peace in me doesn't mean I can't defend myself, or doesn't mean I don't know what to do if put between a rock and a hard place. But we need to learn how to view people. So you know, and this is where we talk about wrecks. Like, what are wrecks? You know, I remember when I was locked up. You know, there were fools that would get wrecked. And what does that mean? It means they would get into a situation where they had to be dealt with in with extreme violence and consequences. Um, but then you also had the walking wrecks, and who were walking wrecks? Well, these were people that brought problems with them, and whoever it is that they bumped or crashed into will probably get caught up or at least tainted in some way with some of that. It could be as little as just feeling like the aggravation of having someone of this caliber next to you, or interfering or bothering your existence because they're there, to the level of you're going to catch a case because of someone, right? That's a walking wreck. But there's walking wrecks in life, and sometimes we can be a walking wreck, but if you, like I said before, once you start identifying these triggers, once you start identifying who you are, meditate, study, learn, gain wisdom, and really focus on becoming better, and battling your demons, and keeping them underfoot, you'll be all right. And you'll be able to detect from afar when a walking wreck approaches. Um, there's a quote I want to share with you guys by Leo Tolstoy, who was a Russian author, excellent Russian author. And he said that the two most powerful warriors are patience and time. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. And when I read this, I felt that it went along with my philosophy, what I described to you guys about. I believe that I was molded by the spiritual part, through reading the Bible and my relationship with God. That's the patience. And the Machiavelli calculating, planning, orchestrating, scheming, that's time. When you see a walking wreck, or when you see trouble coming in the form of a person or a situation or a group of people, there are two things that usually happen. Either you're smart enough, wise enough, and prepared enough to avoid and circumvent those people, that person, or that situation, or you get hit. I don't like to be caught up in other people's issues. So I've learned to avoid walking wrecks. Now, how do you identify, or what are some of the traits of someone that you can consider a walking wreck? Well, um, there's a few characteristics, as a matter of fact. One of them is boastfulness. Someone that likes to talk about how great they are, how much they have, and it's like, and why would that be? Like, why would that make them a walking wreck? Well, first of all, usually people that are always talking about what they have are the ones that are lacking the most. They're lacking sense, they're lacking understanding, they're lacking um, the ability to read the room. And that's an important skill, to know who your audience is and how you're going to perform in front of them. A walking wreck does not understand his place in society and feels that he can just come through like Miley Cyrus, like a wrecking ball. There you go, wrecking ball, right? I don't care. I use whatever reference I want. Yeah, I used the Miley Cyrus reference. I don't care. It's just, it reminds me of a video that I did with some old coworkers, and they use that song. But anyways, they don't have a place. They don't have the sensory skills to know when they're clashing, when they're becoming bothersome, when they're starting to ruffle feathers, they're stepping on toes, and they don't care. They don't realize that that's exactly what they're doing. You know, a walking wreck will try to be very charismatic, but you can see through it. You know that there's problems there. You know, they try to sell themselves as, cool guys that, got it going on, and, don't trip, I'm here, blah blah blah. But all that talking kind of, tells a different story, right? How can what other characteristics? Well, they're messy. Like, you can see it. Like, they're trying to be clean cut. They're trying to be um, immaculate in all they do, and their even in their movements and their gestures and their words. But you can see that it's not all there, right? So there's something off. You got to be able to identify people, and know who you're getting into contact with. Who are you bringing into your life? And I know that we talk about, I've talked about unity. I believe in unity. But I don't think that you can have true unity with just anybody. You got to be kind of like minded, and it has to be people that are at the level of understanding what the cause behind it is. You know, some people only see you as a piggy bank. Walking wrecks, that's what they do. They look at you as someone they can benefit from. And if they can't benefit from you, then they'll try to wreck you. You can do 1,000 things for them, but that one time you didn't do anything for them, that's it. You know? And they'll get reckless and start talking about you, and doing everything in their power to try to assassinate your character. That's a walking wreck. But we can see it. I mean, sometimes, well, in my case, in particular, I'm going to talk about me. I think that sometimes I just try to be patient. You know, the way that God, the way that society, my parents, my family gave me another opportunity. And but I took advantage of that. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes just like any man. But one thing I do know is I'm not gonna do anything to get caught up, to get locked up, to get shot up. I'm gonna avoid that. It's not always avoidable, but there's things that you can do. There's actions you can take to keep that as far away from you as possible, right? And that's the whole point of this conversation tonight. Don't blame others for your lack of preparation and understanding of your circumstances. That's on you, nobody else. I remember there's a Gene Chandler song that, I love it, but it doesn't apply to me. And it's called Victim of Circumstance. Look for it. Gene Chandler is the same guy that sings Duke of Earl. Those are oldies. I'm sure some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you can, look for a song called Victim of Circumstance by Gene Chandler. That's something I'm not. But I love that song. That's a great song. I just like the way he sings it, the orchestration, the melody. It's got some crescendos and then some pauses. It's a really good oldie. Um, we're not victims, man. We're not victims. Don't blame others for your shortcomings, for your bad decisions, for allowing wrong people to come into your life, because then you become a wreck too. Once you stop looking towards you for for the right answers, for the right moves, and you start looking at the next man and seeing what the next man's doing, and you're trying to imitate and copy it, and trying to be there and trying to get what he wants, and getting mad because you're not, you're wrecking yourself. Like Ice Cube said, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's like that's like the more short way of saying all that I've said right now. You know, but it is important, guys, to stay away from people that are wrecks, and not become one yourself by forgetting that the only person responsible for your ups and downs, your successes and your failures, is you, and your inability to move ahead or to do what you want to do. And that inability only exists because you haven't prepared yourself and you haven't put in the work to get to that level. There's a lot of things that I know I still got to improve. At the workplace, there's things that I know I still need to master. I'm not going to walk around acting as though I know it all. I've only been there, it's about to be 3 months, but I wasn't there from the beginning as like in other places where I started from the bottom and kind of rose my way up. And you're learning step by step everything to where you have it all packed. I mean, I can do what I do, but I know that there's things that I can do better and I can learn better. And that's my mentality every day. No, I don't wake up thinking, what does the world owe me? Because at the end of the day, the world is a cruel and vicious place, the Machiavelli side. But I know that as long as I work hard and I keep the faith and I trust, that I'm blessed. I trust that as long as my heart is in the right direction towards helping others and improving myself and being a better man, a better father, a better supervisor, employee, coworker, whatever, just better, just that much better every day, I know God will bless me. And that's how I live my life. But at the same time, I've got enough sense, you can call it street smarts, and wisdom to know when to walk away from a situation that's bad, when to shun or move away from people that will become a wreck in your life. And if you have to cut them off, you got to cut them off, you know? So, the moral of the story, or the ultimate message, is the most powerful warriors, the two most powerful warriors, are patience and time. If you're not patient, you already half lost the battle, because you got to wait sometimes until people show their true colors. Sometimes you got to wait to see someone you love get wrecked until they learn the lesson. And you can't stop, can't put your hands in the fire for them, because you'll burn every time. No, you can't try to stop their descent from above, because you'll get squashed or crushed in the process. It's sad. But there are others that depend on you too, not just this wreck. And it sounds bad. It's like, where's the empathy? No, I mean, I'm not telling you don't help people. I'm just saying, know the limits. Because at the end of the day, some people just have to learn their lessons. So they're going to have to go get wrecked on their own, right? And you may be a loving father of a reckless child, right? Or vice versa. There's only so much you can do, but there comes a moment in time in which you need to understand there's a plan behind this person's life, and they have to figure it out. And it's not going to be through you putting yourself in the mix or putting yourself in danger or on the railroad tracks while this train comes barging down your way. You're not going to do anything but get wrecked yourself. So, having said that, keep pushing every day. You know, it's a struggle every day. You gotta hold on, like Tupac said, right? Um, I think I'm gonna start recording more videos around this time. I think it's best. There's not a lot of noise. It's nice and cool. Um, Everyone's asleep. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned a little bit about me tonight and why I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do with this channel. Please give it a like. Please subscribe, share my content, and have a great night. Peace.